Listen to me. Success doesn't come by accident. It doesn't fall from the sky. It's built habit by habit, day by day, grind by grind. And if you want to be successful, if you want to win, if you want to dominate, then you better lock in these 5 powerful habits that separate the average from the elite. Success doesn't begin when the world applauds you. It begins when the alarm clock rings and no one's watching. It starts when you make the conscious decision to wake up with purpose. See, too many people open their eyes and instantly reach for comfort. They check their phone, scroll through distractions, hit snooze, and delay their potential. But the people who make it, the people who rise to greatness, they wake up like they've got something to prove. Because they do. They understand that every day is a new chance to move closer to the life they dream of. They don't stumble out of bed. They rise with intention. You have to understand that your morning is your foundation. How you start sets the tone for how you perform, how you show up, how you respond, how you lead. If you start your day in chaos reacting to life, then you're already behind. But if you begin with control, clarity, and commitment, then you're already ahead of 99% of people. You're not just waking up, you're awakening your power, your focus, your purpose. You're setting the rhythm for success before the world even gets a chance to distract you. The difference between winners and quitters isn't always talent. It's not always resources. It's rhythm. It's routine. It's that habit of showing up early, starting strong, and refusing to drift through life like a passenger. You can't afford to wander into your day. You have to walk into it with fire. When you wake up with purpose, you're declaring to the universe, I'm in control. I'm not waiting on motivation. I am the motivation. That energy alone starts to shift everything. You can't afford to waste mornings anymore. You can't keep sleeping on your goals. Time is moving whether you're ready or not. And the successful have figured out that those first hours of the day, that's when the world is quiet. That's when the noise hasn't invaded your mind. That's when clarity is possible. That's when creativity is at its peak. And that's where they gain their edge. They don't give their mornings away to chaos. They claim their mornings. They build them with rituals, with discipline, with focus. They prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually for the battles ahead. Because they know if you own the morning, you own the day. This isn't just about waking up early. It's about waking up with urgency, with hunger, with expectation. You gotta wake up like time is running out, because it is. You gotta wake up like somebody's trying to take your spot, because they are. You gotta wake up like your family depending on you, like your dream is slipping through your fingers, like the next move is the one that shifts your entire life. You have to take ownership of that moment. That minute your feet hit the floor, that's when the game starts. That's when the mindset activates. That's when you decide if today is going to be average or legendary. Don't just roll out of bed. Rise like you got a calling, like you got a responsibility to fulfill, like you got work to do. Purpose is what pulls you out of bed when comfort tells you to stay. Purpose is what makes you grateful for the grind. Purpose is what sets the fire inside you before the sun even comes up. It's what gives you the strength to keep pushing when others are still sleeping on their dreams. Because when you live with purpose, you don't need an alarm clock. Your drive wakes you up. You don't need motivation. You are motivation. You don't wait for the opportunity. You create it in the quiet hours, in the silence, in the moments nobody sees. That's the difference. That's the mindset. That's the mindset. That's the advantage. Anyone can be consistent when it's easy, when the sun is shining, when everything's going right. Well, what defines a winner? What separates the successful from everyone else is what they do when it's not convenient. When the alarm goes off and the body is aching, when the results are slow, when no one's cheering, when the weather's bad, the mood is off, and motivation is nowhere to be found. That's where consistency is tested. That's where the real work begins. Consistency is not about feelings. It's about commitment, and commitment means showing up no matter what. It means doing the work whether you feel like it or not. It means sticking to the process, even when progress seems invisible. Because the truth is, most of your growth won't happen in highlight moments. Most of your progress won't happen when everything is perfect. It'll happen in the trenches, in the early mornings, late nights, and in between hours, where you push yourself to keep going when everything in you wants to stop. When people talk about success, they love to mention talent, passion, strategy. But what often goes unnoticed is the sheer power of persistence. The ability to keep moving forward, one step at a time, with discipline, with grit, with a relentless attitude. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the fastest. But if you're the one who refuses to quit, if you're the one who keeps showing up even when it's hard, you will outlast the competition. You will grow stronger in the struggle. There are going to be days when it feels like nothing's working. Days when you feel like giving up. Days when progress is so slow it feels like it's not happening at all. But that's the moment that separates the talkers from the doers, the pretenders from the professionals. Because the successful know that every rep counts. Every small action compounds. They don't just show up for the results. They show up for the process. They understand that transformation is built through repetition, through sweat, through showing up again and again long after the excitement has faded. Success doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your mood. It responds to consistency. And consistency isn't just about doing the same thing over and over. It's about getting better at what you're doing, even when no one's watching. It's about refining your craft, improving your habits, staying locked in while others are distracted. It's about the discipline to stay the course when the road gets rough. Think about the people you admire, the ones you look up to. They didn't just get lucky. They didn't just show up once and win. They kept showing up through failure, through disappointment, through moments where it would have been easier to quit. They kept pushing because they understood that greatness is not a one-time act. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice they make daily to keep pressing, to keep training, to keep building even when the rewards aren't immediate. Consistency when it's not convenient is what builds confidence. Every time you show up for yourself when it's hard, you build trust in your own character. You prove to yourself that you're not just chasing a goal. You're becoming the kind of person who deserves it. You're not just trying to win. You're training yourself to withstand pressure, to navigate pain, to persist through resistance. It's easy to work when you're inspired. It's easy to give effort when everything's going your way. But what do you do when nothing's lining up? What do you do when the fire is gone and the finish line feels far? That's when the most important work happens. That's when consistency becomes your weapon. When your body's tired, but your mind stays locked in. When you keep showing up to the gym, to the studio, to the grind, even when there's no applause, no recognition, no immediate reward. Because you understand that showing up in those moments, those quiet, lonely, difficult moments, is what makes you unstoppable. Every person on this planet gets the same 24-hour. The successful, the struggling, the hungry, the lazy. They all wake up with the same amount of time in their hand. What makes the difference is how they choose to use it. Time is the most valuable asset you will ever have. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose things and replace them. But time, once it's spent, it's gone forever. That's why the most successful people treat their time like it's gold. They don't give it away freely. They don't waste it on things that don't push them forward. You got dreams, goals, visions. But do your actions match your ambition? Look at how you spend your day. Are you investing your time or just spending it? Are you building something or are you just passing time, hoping success magically finds you? You can't expect championship level results with backyard level effort. You can't expect growth while wasting hours scrolling, binging, or procrastinating. Success demands intentional time ownership. It demands you take control of every minute like it's a brick in the foundation of your future. The truth is, a lot of people lose their dreams, not because they didn't have the talent, but because they didn't master their time. They let distractions win. They let comfort win. They let laziness creep in and rob them. You have to understand, every minute matters. Every hour wasted is an hour that could have been used sharpening your skill, creating your business, training your body, expanding your mind. The people who win don't work harder just because they love the grind. They work harder because they understand the cost of time. They know that wasting an hour today means falling behind tomorrow. Owning your 24 hours means you prioritize with precision. You don't just fill your calendar with activities. You fill it with purpose. You create structure. You map out your mission. You identify what matters and eliminate what doesn't. That might mean saying no to distractions, cutting off toxic relationships, or walking away from comfort zones. It might mean sacrificing fun now so you can celebrate later. It's not easy, but greatness never is. You can either control your day or your day will control you. Some people live their whole lives in reaction mode. They wake up and immediately respond to everything around them. Go. They react to messages, react to social media, react to other people's problems. But the successful, they live proactively. They wake up and already know what they're doing. They've set goals, they plan their moves. They don't wake up looking for direction. They wake up with direction already in their mind. They've already made the hard choices in advance so they can operate with clarity in the moment. When you own your time, you protect your energy. You don't waste it on drama. You don't let everybody and everything pull you in 10 different directions. You guard your focus because you know how valuable it is. You stop letting people interrupt your grind. You stop saying yes to things that don't serve your mission. Time ownership is not about being busy. It's about being effective. It's about doing the right things in the right order at the right time. You don't get today back. You don't get another shot at this exact moment. That's why you have to start living with urgency, not stress urgency, not stress urgency. That sense that what you do right now matters. That how you spend the next hour isn't just about today, but about who you're becoming. Every hour is a seed, and the harvest depends on what you're planting. You're either planting discipline or distraction, progress or procrastination, power or passivity. When you learn to truly own your 24, you start to realize just how much you're capable of. Most people are not lacking time, they're leaking it. You gotta plug the leaks, take the wheel, and move with intention every single day. Growth is not something that happens by accident. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly become better. Growth is a decision, a mindset, and a daily discipline. If you want to elevate your life, you have to feed your mind like a champion feeds their body. You have to become obsessed with learning, not just in school, not just in formal education, but in life, in every moment, in every conversation, in every experience. The most successful people are not the ones who know the most, but the ones who refuse to stop learning. You've got to read books, listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, study people who've been where you want to go. You've got to ask questions, take notes, try, fail, and try again. You'll have to be humble enough to admit that you don't know everything and hungry enough to go find out what you don't know. Your potential is not limited by your background or your circumstances. It's limited by your willingness to learn. Your next level is out there, but you won't find it if you're not willing to search for it, study for it, prepare for it. Learning isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's about transformation. It's about upgrading your mindset, sharpening your perspective, strengthening your skills. If you want to change your life, you've got to change the way you think. You've got to fill your mind with thoughts that empower you, with ideas that challenge you, with wisdom that stretches you. You've got to learn how to unlearn the lies you've been told, the doubts you believe, the limitations you've accepted. That only happens when you commit to feeding your mind every single day. There's no finish line when it comes to learning. There's no final destination. The people who keep growing are the ones who stay curious, who never stop asking why, who are always looking for that next insight, that next edge, that next breakthrough. They understand that in a world that's constantly changing, the only way to stay ahead is to keep evolving. They know that what got them here won't get them there. So they don't settle, they don't coast. They stay sharp. They stay hungry. You gotta make learning a non-negotiable part of your life. You can't treat it like a luxury. You can't squeeze it in when it's convenient. You gotta schedule it when it's convenient. You gotta schedule it. I'll say, prioritize it, respect it. Just like you feed your body every day, you gotta feed your mind. And not just with junk, not just with gossip, noise, and entertainment. You gotta feed it with the kind of content that grows you, that stretches you. That reminds you of who you are and what you're capable of becoming. Look at the people who are dominating in their space. They didn't get there by luck. They got there by mastery. And mastery is born through repetition, through deep study, through relentless self-improvement. They're not afraid to sit at the feet of others. They're not afraid to be beginners again. They're not afraid to say, I don't know, because they understand that every answer they gain brings them one step closer to excellence. They don't see learning as a burden. They see it as a privilege, as a secret weapon. as a way to separate themselves from the crowd. Most people stop learning after school. They close the books. They settle into routine. They get comfortable. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. But you're not like most people. You're building something bigger. You're chasing something greater. And that means you can't afford to stop learning. You can't afford to be passive with your growth. Every moment is a classroom. Every challenge is a lesson. Every failure is a teacher. When you adopt the mindset that every day is an opportunity to learn, you start to shift from survival to strategy, from confusion to clarity, from average to extraordinary. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's what turns good intentions into powerful results. Most people know what they need to do. They know the habits they should build, the choices they should make, the goals they want to chase. But the problem isn't knowledge, it's follow through. And follow through doesn't come from fear, it comes from discipline. You can't negotiate with your goals every time things get hard. You can't keep giving yourself permission to quit, to slack off, to hit pause. If you want success, you've got to stop making deals with your excuses and start honoring your commitments. There will always be reasons to put things off. There will always be distractions, doubts, fears, and fatigue. But discipline is what pushes past all of that. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel, I made a promise. Discipline says, I'm not waiting for motivation, I'm moving with intention. When you live by discipline, you stop letting your emotions run your life. You stop letting comfort make your decisions. You stop living by what's easy and start living by what's necessary. Because success doesn't respond to comfort zone. It responds to consistent, focused, disciplined action. You can't wake up every day and wonder if you feel like grinding. You can't keep giving in to moods and moments. That's how dreams die. That's how greatness gets buried. The strongest people are not the ones who are always fired up. They're the ones who show up no matter what. The ones who wake up tired and still go to work. The ones who feel overwhelmed and still execute the plan. The ones who face resistance and still move forward. That's discipline. That's mental toughness. That's what separates talkers from doers. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build confidence, you build trust in your own word. That's how self-respect grows. That's how power grows. Because when you become the kind of person who follows through no matter what, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for it, waiting, and you start being fueled by your own commitment. You stop hoping for results and you start expecting them because you know you're doing the work. The reality is, discipline is freedom. Most people think discipline is restriction, that it's about saying no all the time. But that's not true. Discipline is what gives you the power to create the life you actually want. It gives you the structure to build momentum. It gives you the control to stop being reactive and start being intentional. When you live with discipline, you don't chase results, you attract them. You move with purpose, with clarity, with urgency. You stop drifting through life and start directing it. You have to decide who you're gonna be when no one's watching. When the cameras are off, when it's just you in the mirror. That's where discipline is built. In the quiet, in the lonely, in the routine. The people who reach the top are not there because of one big moment. They're there because of 1,000 small, disciplined decisions. They don't miss workouts. They don't skip practices. They don't ignore the plan. They show up over and over again because they made a decision and they honor it every single day. The danger comes when you start negotiating with yourself. When you start allowing thoughts like, I just this once or I'll do it tomorrow. Those tiny compromises seem harmless in the moment, but they stack up. They weaken your standards. They rob you of momentum. You have to train yourself to move regardless of how you feel. Discipline doesn't wait for comfort. Discipline doesn't wait for comfort. Discipline doesn't wait for inspiration. Discipline moves even when everything inside you wants to pause. You've got to treat your goals like they're non-negotiable, like they're part of who you are, not just something you wish for. Because when you take negotiation off the table, you take doubt off the table. You eliminate the back and forth and replace it with action. Every day, every choice, every habit, it becomes a statement. This is what I do. This is who I am. That identity, that consistency, that level of personal accountability, that's what drives real success. Success is not handed out freely. It comes with a price. Every win, every breakthrough, every achievement you admire has a hidden cost behind it, sacrifice. The world sees the results, but rarely does it see what had to be given up to reach them. The hours of sleep traded for early mornings. The party skipped for late nights grinding. The comfort zones abandoned for a vision that most people couldn't even understand. Sacrifice is the unspoken requirement of greatness. And if you're serious about your goals, then something has to go. The problem is, most people want success without the struggle. They want to keep all their habits, all their distractions, all their comforts, and still rise to the top. But it doesn't work like that. You can't have growth without loss. You can't make space for your future while clinging to everything from your past. Sacrifice means cutting off the things that don't serve the mission, even if they feel good in the moment. It means choosing discipline over ease, purpose over pleasure, focus over fun. That's where the line gets drawn between those who wish and those who work. You can't keep living like everyone else and expect different results. If your routine looks just like the people around you who are stuck, then don't be surprised when you feel stuck too. The people who win in life, truly win, are the ones who are willing to give up what's unnecessary so they can build what's extraordinary. They're not afraid to trade in comfort for challenge, to give up short-term happiness for long-term fulfillment. They're not focused on what they're losing. They're locked in on what they're gaining. And because of that, they move differently. They train differently. They think differently. They think different. Every time you make a sacrifice for your dream, you're sending a message to yourself, this matters. My future matters. And that belief starts to shift your identity. You stop operating from a place of convenience and start operating from a place of conviction. You stop chasing the path of least resistance and start climbing the mountain step by step, knowing the view from the top is worth every painful step it takes to get there. Sacrifice sharpens you. It tests your commitment. It reveals how bad you really want it. There's a reason so few people make it to the top. It's not because they lack talent or intelligence. It's because they're not willing to pay the cost. They want results, but they don't want to give up their vices. They want progress, but they won't let go of distractions. They want to win, but only if it doesn't get too uncomfortable. But real success demands a deeper level of surrender. It asks you to let go of the things that are easy, familiar, and fun so you can embrace the things that are challenging, unknown, and transformational. Sacrifice isn't just about big moments. It's the small daily choices that compound into character. It's waking up earlier than you want to, saying no to things that drain you, choosing silence over noise, choosing learning over entertainment, choosing hustle over rest when the work still needs to be done. Those small acts of sacrifice build your foundation. They strengthen your will. They create habits that shape who you become. The truth is, success and comfort rarely coexist. You're going to have to decide what matters more to you, the feeling you want right now, or the future you're building. That means some nights you'll be alone. That means some weekends you'll be grinding when everyone else is relaxing. That means some conversations will be short because your vision is too big to waste time. And that's okay. Because when you truly understand the value of what you're building, the cost no longer feels like a burden. It feels like a privilege. It becomes part of your story, part of your edge, part of the reason you're different from the rest. So now you know the truth. Success isn't luck. It isn't magic. It isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's built step by step, habit by habit, decision by decision. You got the blueprint. Wake up with purpose. Stay consistent even when it's hard. Own your 24 hours. Feed your mind relentlessly. Stop negotiating with your goals and embrace the sacrifice. These aren't theories. These are weapons, tools, ladders. And if you use them, if you apply them every single day, you will rise. But you've got to want it. You got to burn for it. You got to stop making excuses and start making moves. No more waiting. No more wishing. This is your time. This is your moment. You've got the vision. Now match it with execution. Go build the life that's been calling your name. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Let's get it.